June 23rd, 2025. This is going to be a somewhat fast view of these birds because you've seen them all over and over again. So what's new and not new is the 3 rubinos have been added to this cage. This hen's nest box was taken off, and the one, which is sitting right there, the one Rosie from the pair that had the one baby, has been put in here also. So that's what's going on in there. Here's all the hand beds here, and down here are the combination from the 2 pair. These are all the, not all the Rosies, but 5 from the 1 pair. Was it 5? No, it's the Rosies. The 1 pair had 2 rubinos that are up and 1 rubino, and then so that's, and then the 1 and 2 rubino are up here, and then that's from the pair that I did see originally 3 babies in the nest way back when they hatched, and then there was 1, which is just that Rosie. Okay, so now we'll move. Let's see, we'll go up here to, this is the pair. I don't know, it's saying more light needed, but I'm just doing this. She never came out of the nest box, so finally she came out, and I checked day before yesterday. She had 5 eggs, 3 babies had already hatched. The other 2 eggs were infertile. The first baby was really big, and then the other 2 babies had hatched, maybe 4 days after the first one. Obviously what happened was the first baby hatched, then the 2 next eggs were infertile, and then the 4th one hatched and the 5th one hatched. She hasn't been out today for me to clean the nest box. When I looked and, well, felt in the nest box because it's so high, I had to clean it. So I took it down and cleaned it. I'm waiting today for her to come out so I can take it down and clean it again because it's been 2 days ago. Now this pair that had the 5 babies before, which were, it was, I guess, I'd have to look up, written it down, the 4 Rosies and the 1 rubino, last clutch. Okay, she was on 8 eggs, and the babies had been still in with this pair, so I wasn't really thinking any eggs were fertile. In fact, on this pair, I really didn't think any eggs were fertile either. So she ended up, when I looked in this box, 8 eggs, and after, I don't know, after a week or so, I candled them, could see that 4 were fertile, where I was surprised, and 4 weren't. Well, the hen over here, I'll go around so you, this hen with the male, where her first clutch were infertile eggs, and that's the 2 of them there, not the rubino baby. And then she went back to nest also, and she finally, when I checked her eggs, there were 4 in there. They were not fertile again. So what I did is, since there were 4 fertile eggs in here and there were 4 more eggs, I thought, well, 4 that didn't show fertility. I took those 4 and gave them to that other hen and just thought, let her sit on those, and if they're not fertile, that's, okay, and then I'll take her down. Well, she was sitting and I didn't check them. I just let her sit, And then I came out, was it maybe 4 days ago? I'm not sure. Well, first I'm jumping ahead. It turned out that, well, no, I'll wait. You can wait for the ending. The hen that I just showed you, that I gave her 4 of this pair's other eggs, and there were X's put on them with a pencil so I could keep track. When I came out, it was maybe 4 days ago in late morning, and she was out again, out of the nest box. I could tell, and she was too comfortable. I could tell she wasn't going back in again. So I did all the water and food in here and everything. And when I got done, I thought, okay, look at those eggs. Looked at those eggs. They were all fertile. So I'm going, oh no, have they died in the shell? She got off, but they felt lukewarm. Like she didn't get off them the night before and probably didn't get off them in the morning, because when I pulled them out, they were lukewarm. I had candled them, and I thought, okay, I'm just going to put them back in with this hen. Now, in the meantime, this hen ended up, and I've got the schedule, maybe I'll tell you, of the hatching. The first one hatched on the 19th. Then she had, which is kind of weird, 3 more babies hatched at the same time. So then the other 4, which this is how it works. Obviously, she didn't start incubating on the second egg. She laid a bunch of eggs. That's when I thought they were all infertile, before she started sitting them to incubate. Well, I put the other 4 in, and then it was like, I don't know, the next day, I've got it written down, another one hatched, and then the next day there were 2 more hatched. And I checked the box today because there had been 1 egg. There were 7 babies and 1 egg left that was fertile. Well, let me move over here as I tell the story. This hen, like these are the ones that had the 1 baby. Okay, the baby just got removed yesterday from it because it was finally weaned and fledged, and this cage is small. She had gone back in like the other ones and laid a bunch of eggs, and they were scrambled all over the box. I'm not even sure if I removed them. I candled them. And then she went back in and was laying more, and their baby was going back in the nest box with her, going in and out and sitting in there. So I thought, okay, these eggs aren't going to be fertile. So once I could remove the baby, they would be moved back down in this cage, which is much bigger. I'll just take the nest box and put it on here, and then it would just be these 3 pair that have been proven in producing. Well, when I was looked at the box yesterday and cleaned it a little with the 7 babies, there was 1 egg left. And then once I went into the house, I thought I should take that egg. Well, I jumped ahead again. What it is yesterday, even though she won't come out of the box, I candled her eggs. They're scrambled all over in there. They're developing, which I go, oh, okay, I can't move them out now. Then, as an afterthought, I thought, oh, I should move that 1 egg in with her, because then I'm thinking the last egg from these birds, it would hatch possibly closer to this hen's eggs hatching, and either it would be first and have a good chance, or it would be somehow mixed in, so it wouldn't be the tiniest one. Well, see, what I figured was, when I looked at the 8th egg, it looked like it needed like a couple more days to hatch. And I thought, 7 babies and 1 more, it's going to end up on the bottom of the pile. Well, I checked today, and there's number 8. So at this time, there are 8 babies in the nest box. So I hope they'll make it. They pretty much have a chance because of them hatching all together. There isn't one amongst 8. It would be the first 2 possibly, and then every other day after that. So a lot of times you got a big baby and then you got a little tiny at the end, and that one a lot gets under the pile and either gets squished or not fed. So these are all very close in size. So I think they have a good chance. Now, there's just a pile of them. When I looked yesterday, there were, I believe, 4 Rubino and 3 Rosies. I will eventually write this all down. I've got the hatching dates written down. I will eventually write down Rosie or Rubino with it once everything gets said and done. Now, I have no idea what's going to happen here. She is on, at this time, a bunch of her legs. I didn't even count them because she won't come out of the nest box. And I have to push her aside and candle them and just do it really fast. The thing is, this isn't a big cage, so that shouldn't make any difference on when they're in the nest box. Why from the last clutch, the 2 first ones died, I have no idea. The babies aren't out in the cage, so it really shouldn't make any difference. But I will, hopefully she does better, and I don't know how many eggs there are. I'm wondering though, if she has a bunch of babies, like say even 4 or 5, and then they get ready to fledge. This cage is so small, and that was my idea, was to get them moved, that the eggs were not going to be fertile, baby fledged, and then this pair would go back on here with the nest box she's in, and she could go ahead and lay a 3rd time and see if the eggs are fertile, because I didn't believe this batch was, this clutch. And then they have more room for when the babies are fledging. And I had thought, but I'm not going to do it because she doesn't want to come out of the nest box. I thought, just take the nest box and hang it over on the other cage and put him in. But I'm worried that when she comes out and see it in the middle of this, her incubating, that she's in a different cage, she may not go back into the nest box. So I'm not going to do that. So this is the update for today.